Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Season 2 of Supergirl. Now I'm really thoroughly enjoying this series, and I think in many ways the second season is a lot better than the first. And I really like where the direction they're going with this series and what they're putting into it, the characters that are coming into it, the way the story arc's evolving and other characters are evolving and changing and transforming as the series goes along. And what's different in Season 2 is Season 1 really focused on her becoming Supergirl, Kara Danvers, and really looking at her overcoming things and learning to use her abilities and helping others and learning how to become this superhero or this person she really wants to be. And it really shows a transformation in that series. In Season 2, she is Supergirl now. She knows her abilities, she knows what she can and can't do, and how to use her abilities very effectively. And so this series is really about her as a person, her evolving the arc that she has, how she sustains being this superhero. And it really looks at how she's trying to balance things, trying to find, a partner and trying to balance work, normal work where she becomes a reporter and things like that, and being Supergirl and trying to hide who she is still by having this alter ego of Kara Danvers and not being Supergirl and trying to split the two apart. And she feels torn between things. She has to make decisions that she finds really difficult, and she just really struggles along. And there's a lot of mentoring going on with the Calista Fokker character, Kat. And it's really about her helping Kara understand who she is and trying to help her work out what she wants and how to accomplish it and how to get what she wants. And it sort of follows that arc of her. It introduces a lot of new characters and it expands the world quite a bit, which I really enjoy. We get to see a new Superman, who I think is really, really great, and her interaction. The interaction between Superman and Supergirl is really great, these two great forces, and in a lot of ways she's stronger than Superman, physically sometimes and mentally as well, and she's able to make the hard decisions that he feels he couldn't do himself. And I think that makes her a really strong and powerful sort of character, and I really like that. And I really like her coming to terms with things and the way life is changing for her and the people around her. I really like the character Alex, and she starts a really well done romance. There's a lot of romances happening in this season, and the one I really like is Alex and the new character they've introduced, Maggie Sawyer, who's a detective. And it's really about their relationship growing and Alex becoming who she really is and who she felt she's always been. And I think they handle this relationship really, really well. And it's really wonderful to see it transpire and unfold on the screen. I think it's one of the best relationships within the series. Greg Berlanti's still trying to build upon this show, and there are episodes that take place, one in Supergirl and then continued on in either The Flash or Arrow or DC Legends of Tomorrow. And it's really trying to combine all these together. It makes it difficult watching though, unfortunately for me. I'm not able to get my hands on particular episodes that carry on that storyline within that particular episode. It sort of introduces another character, Mon-El, who comes from Daxam, and a sister planet to Krypton that was affected by the destruction of Krypton as well. And it's sort of an interesting sort of thing. There's a hatred between Daxamites and Kryptonians. And it's interesting how she treats him and the part he plays within this particular season as well. But he ultimately ends up becoming a really good character as it goes along. They introduce a variety of other characters as well, villains and heroes. The character Guardian appears. In the comics, he was a cop who was a cop by day and a vigilante sort of hero, masked hero by night. And they evolve and change his particular character and his origins within this series, but he's a really, really great character as well. The Will character gets a lot more to do, and he really becomes an important part of the DEO organisation and helping them with the technical side of things and tracking down particular killers and monsters and aliens as well. They introduced a lot of other villains as well, and one in particular is There's a particular group out there called Cadmus, and they're against aliens coming and taking over the world, so they're always trying to stop these aliens from doing this. They're a really interesting villain sort of group, and their idea is just to keep the Earth safe, and it really looks at them as well. It looks at other particular characters. It looks at Alex and Kara's father returning in a certain way, and what happened to him, and why he was captured by Cadmus, and what part he plays within that particular organization, which is really interesting as well. It introduces Lena Luthor, which is Lex Luthor's sister, who takes over L Corp, and she's in control, and she's a really interesting character as well. And she has a character arc, and it evolves and changes as well, and she becomes really good friends with Kara Danvers, and it's really interesting to see these two unlikely friends becoming close and interacting with each other in a positive way. I guess in a lot of ways it mirrors the relationship between Superman and Lex Luthor as well. And when they first met each other, it was a friendship that turned into enemies, and I wonder if they're going to go in that direction with this particular relationship between Lena and Kara, but I don't know. We'll see. I have to wait and see what happens. They up the ante a lot in this sort of series with the villains that come into it. Mon-El's mother and father appear, and they are particularly interesting characters as well. They look at a lot of invasions and bits and pieces that are transpiring in this sort of season, and it's just a really interesting sort of season 2, I think. And it's very smart what they did in the evolution of that, of Kara Danvers of transforming into this really great superhero. I think is really clever. I like how they've got a lot of actors from other Superman properties or Superman series that took place. Like Terry Hatcher appears, who was in Lois and Clark with Dean Cain. You know, Helen Slater obviously is in it, who played the original Supergirl in the movie in the 80s. And there's a variety of other people that appear in it that have been in this series before. And I'm really impressed with season 2, and I can't wait to start season 3, which will be very soon, and I'll do a review of that as well, and then talk about what I'm enjoying about it. But I really love this sort of series. I love the Supergirl character. I love the way Melissa Benoist is playing the character. She's really fantastic in it, and it's a character you can really get behind. And she's sort of like Clark Kent in a lot of ways. She's sort of bumbling and gets herself and sort of nerdy in a way, but I really like that about her. But when she's Supergirl, she puts on a voice and becomes this hero, and I kind of like that sort of thing, trying to differentiate between those two personas that she has. And the interaction, like I said, with Superman is fantastic, and it's good to see him in here, and the casting is really good, and they're sort of combining that world together. And I really want to see this Lois Lane, but they haven't really revealed her yet, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that character as well. And each time I watch each episode, I like to show more and more, and it's the biggest surprise I've ever had of a show that took me a long time to get into, but now I'm just hooked on it and I love it, and I want to see more and more. And the sad thing is I've only got up to season 3, so when 4 begins, I may not be able to get my hands on that, and that's sort of, a bit upsetting, I guess, because I want to see how it changes and evolves, and what directions they take the show in, and the characters and what happens from that. I'm going to give this season 2 4.5 as well. I really thoroughly enjoy it. I like the direction they're taking the series in. I like the characters in it. I like the transformation and transition of these particular characters. And I think Greg Berlanti is still doing a really fantastic job in creating this show and taking it in directions that are very interesting. I'm really, really impressed with it. Anyway, that's all from me today. If you've enjoyed what you've heard here, please subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.